MJF now knows what he needs to do to get into the hurt business. And it's quite simple, really. It's hurt people. You would have guessed that would have had to be part of the criteria to join, these bunch of guys that like hurting people. So I guess he's been asked to show a bit of a ruthless side. And we were gonna see if he can do that. What's up, people? Hope everyone is well. My name is Max. You're watching the AEW Dynamite review on the WrestleManiac UK YouTube channel. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment on your thoughts on AEW Dynamite, MJF joining the Hurt Syndicate. Let me know how you feel about that. And of course, the Owen tournament finals are set, the women's final and the men's final. We're going to discuss both today as well. But let's touch on our main topic for today, our headline story. MJF now knows what he needs to do. Are the Hurt Syndicate ready to do business with MJF? Because MJF now knows he needs to show this aggressive side of himself, ultimately, to join the Hurt Syndicate. You see, me and this story is intriguing to a level, but I don't know, because I've never believed for a moment MJF was going to join the Hurt Syndicate. And in a sense, it kind of like worries me if he is to join, what the dynamic of the group and stuff like that. And I know on surface level, it just looks like this is meant to be a group for black men, or black people. But I think MJF has MVP, too many initials. MVP has previously said that we're not closed off to just black people. We're closed off to the right people, So it'll be interesting to see if MJF ever did really join them. If he did, I can imagine it being like a short-term thing just to get whatever he needs out of them, their support to win the world title or whatever the case is. I don't know. I'm not really for it personally, but yeah, I think there is a way that it can be done and we can feel like, all right, let's see where this goes. This has been interesting so far, though. We're slowly winning over the members. MVP was first, his longtime friend, Shelton Benjamin, which has shown some great character work during all of this as well. And now Bobby Lashley, who continuously gives the thumbs down, but on this occasion on the show, he gave the thumbs down and, wanted to tell him, in order to join us, you need to hurt people. Like, that is what this is about. And later on, when we get into the breakdown of the show, I'll kind of talk more so about the verbiage and what was exactly said and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, I don't want to see MJF join these guys. Like, I just don't want to see it. If this leads to a double or nothing match between Bobby Lashley and MJF gets the win, and maybe that makes MVP kind of question Bobby Lashley's position in the Hurt Syndicate, then great. That's good. MJF needs a big win. Should it come at the expense of Bobby Lashley? That's maybe not. But I think they need something more than, right, you've shown how dominant you are. You're tag team champions. You hurt people. We get it. What's the next evolution of this group and their characters? Yeah, let's get something of maybe MJF beats Bobby Lashley, the one person that didn't want me to enter this group. And now, that makes MVP have to consider Roberto's position in the Hurt Syndicate. That could be, some good, fun storytelling, character development amongst these guys. Let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comments. On another segue, if you like, and maybe tie this in with a bit of news. In the next week or so, Cedric Alexander is free from WWE. He's obviously left the company already. He has his 90 days no compete or whatever it is. 7 days time, he is free. Will we see Cedric Alexander join the Hurt Syndicate? Now, I've spoken about this previously before. We know he had previous with Tony Khan around Big Swole and how the whole Big Swole stuff was handled. So maybe he doesn't want to join them. In the same instance, that could be the olive branch, and he joins AEW and joins the Hurt Syndicate to patch up, how TK treated that situation involving his wife. I know recently the Hurt Syndicate guys have been on a podcast and they have said that, Cedric's like their little brother and all of this kind of stuff. And, the good times about working with Cedric. Should Cedric Alexander rejoin the Hurt Syndicate? I think the answer is no. I think we need some new blood in there. We need the new upstart and stuff like that, because even from a whole look perspective, Cedric's not given like this is the golden boy sort of thing. This is who we're trying to push through. For me, at this point, it is one person and one person only, and it's Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is the guy that they need to kind of bring in. He's having a good babyface run and acclimatizing to the AEW crowd right now. I think he could do with, a bit of a change in presentation, a bit of a change in just his arsenal, and show he's got other stuff up his sleeve rather than just all the kind of high flying fancy tricks, this, that, and the other. I think he's a great talent, and he could really add some edge to himself by being aggressive and hurting people. Powerhouse Hobbs is good, but I just feel like Powerhouse Hobbs could be a really good option, but he's too close to Bobby Lashley in some respects. So that's the only reason I wouldn't say him. You guys would have heard me say before I wanted Ricochet in there, but I think that ship has sailed. So Kevin Knight, yeah. Cedric Alexander is able to join the Hurt Syndicate in 7 days' time. I don't think I would do it. I think you could even go as far as bring Cedric Alexander into AEW, kind of tease the fact that, yeah, guys, I'm available, I'm here now, blah, blah, blah. And Kevin Knight just absolutely comes and murders him and, puts on his suit and tie and joins the Hurt Syndicate. I think something like that could be very fun. And then, the likes of Cedric and Kevin Knight could have a little program, and Cedric and Shelton Benjamin and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, Cedric still needs to work. He still needs to get paid. So, yeah, I think that could all be some good fun. But for who should actually join the Hurt Syndicate, that is Kevin Knight, man. It's got to be Kevin Knight. But we'll see where this whole thing with MJF and this whole story is going. Right, we're going to get into the AEW Dynamite review in just a bit. We're going to just do some news. And there hasn't really been much in the way of like AEW news. So we are here talking about WWE stuff on a quote-unquote AEW stream. But let's do it. Let's run through it because it's some of the biggest news stories over the past few days. Roman Reigns. We know the tribal chief. He loves his hiatuses. He's not around right now, and we're going to talk about when he's expected to return. So, of course, Roman Reigns, he featured in that blockbuster WrestleMania 41 Night 1 main event. The tribal chief at his best when he is highly motivated, and he might need some downtime now, it seems. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, we know they took out Roman Reigns and CM Punk on the Raw after Mania. Roman, once again, is expected to take some time off. WrestleVotes have reported that Reigns will be making his return sometime in early June. Sorry, I butchered that last line. WrestleVotes has reported that Roman Reigns will be making his return sometime in early June. So that's what, just before Money in the Bank. Could be interesting. Money in the Bank is slowly becoming, if it hasn't already become, one of WWE's big pay-per-views, which I think this year is in LA, the Intuit Dome, if I remember correctly. So it'll be nice to see Roman back. At this point, this is the beginning of May, so June is literally a month away. So 4 weeks without Roman Reigns, and then he returns, I guess, is what we're looking at. It'll be interesting to see what Roman Reigns will be doing upon return. You guys, if you have any thoughts or suggestions, of course, put it down below in the comments. Chelsea Green recently lost her United States Championship, and there's been a lot of backstage surprise, and I've seen tweets and stuff about, Chelsea Green and losing this title, and it took us all by unawares. And the thing is, I think we all do like Zelina Vega. I'm just speaking here. I know I do, but like, I think people generally like Zelina Vega. They can see talent and potential in her, but people have really been enjoying Chelsea Green. it seems like a lot of displeasure has been voiced about how Chelsea Green's United States title run was booked. And she should have felt more important, but the company never booked her that way. PW Insider has reported that people backstage were surprised to see Chelsea lose to Zelina Vega, and most people didn't know the result of the match before the match took place. Now, I think that's common practice. I don't think, everyone backstage, all the talent find out who's winning and losing on the night. If you go into your room with the producer and you find that out there and there, I think that's fine. But maybe it was a big kind of shocking moment when she took the 1, 2, 3, big gasps backstage and whatever the case. I don't know. But yeah, it's a shame because she had the gimmick on Smash. But I remember saying when they were trying to decide these new IC champions and US champions, this is why we should have established the belt first. Pretty much like they did with Seth Rollins with the World Heavyweight Championship. You establish the belt first, and then you kind of introduce these newer characters to gold. That is, these Zelina Vegas, these Lyra Valkyrias, these Chelsea Greens. Then you can bring them in, and you've already established the belt. These belts haven't really been established at this point. I would say Lyra's more so than the United States Championship, although Chelsea done some great character stuff with the United States Championship. Yeah, I think we need to do better. For those belts to be pretty new, they came in, December and January, and didn't feature on WrestleMania in defenses. I think that's poor. I just think that's poor. That is very poor for women's wrestling. It's very poor by the WWE doing that for women's wrestling when you've kind of given them something new to fight for. So, yeah, rubbed me up the wrong way, that's for sure. But yeah, I think we need to get behind Zelina Vega and give Zelina Vega a good run now. That's WWE's job. Chelsea Green will be fine because she's brilliant. She's actually very brilliant at this whole wrestling thing. So I think she will land on her feet and she'll be cool. And she's got the Hervis and all of that kind of stuff as well. Last but not least, before we get back to AEW Dynamite, let's talk Seth Rollins' new stable. They still haven't got a name. They still ain't even got a name. We're trying to work out, why Paul Heyman, why did you do that? And, Seth Rollins, does he quite fit as a Paul Heyman guy? I don't know. But I think we're all very intrigued. It's one of the best things going on in WWE right now, Seth Rollins' new stable. Seth alongside Bron Breakker and Paul Heyman. It feels good, even though we're still kind of waiting for those explanations I mentioned. WWE is planning to book the stable in such a strong fashion. It's come out that is going to be the case, with the hopes that the future stable could be compared to, as Fightful has said, as some of these, evolutions and stuff like that of yesteryear. There isn't an update as of yet if another person is going to be added to the stable, but yeah, I think everyone is enjoying this and keen to see the direction of where this will go. Cool. Right. Again, hit the like button if you're here, if you're live in the place. Drop me some comments and let me know what you're thinking of AEW Dynamite. We're going to get into the review now. The show opened up with this all-star match, right? Kenny Omega, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, and Mark Briscoe going up against the Elite, who is the Young Bucks and Kazuchika Okada, and Ricochet. 8-man tag all-star match. I learned in this match that Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey, are a tag team. I don't know when I missed that, but they had a tag team entrance or of some sorts. This was a fun spot fest infested match, right? Obviously the talents in it, great talents throughout. AEW, we're the best to wrestle. We know all of that stuff, right? This was very fun. The Elite and Ricochet got the win. And yeah, we are kind of building towards Okada and Omega for that all-in show. I think it's fairly obvious that's what we're going to do. The chemistry between Omega and Okada, it's just there. It's just tangible. They're like brothers, My question / criticism of this: why was this match 30 minutes or however long. I'm pretty sure it was about in and around 30 minutes long. Yeah, why? Like, I feel like I fell out of concentration with it because it's like it's a pretty much a meaningless match. There's no stakes, and you're wrestling a tag match for 30 minutes and not even like a intense, pretty much a, I don't want to say comedy because it wasn't comedy, but there was a lot of just fun spots like for 30 minutes. I did think that was a bit excessive. I can't lie. I know there's a lot of guys, so everyone's got to get their stuff in. I just thought 30 minutes was too long, man. It's just too long. Like, and we know what you're trying to show us and where we're trying to get to. Like I said, the Okada Omega, but that was my one thing about this match. So I was just, yeah, I was a bit concerned why this going for so long. Probably could have got another women's match or something on the show. If you gave these men at least 20 minutes and then could have got another women's match on or something like that. I don't know. Maybe with subtracting entrances, this might have actually been more towards the 20-minute mark or 25 minutes. But I think it was longer than it had to be. That's what I'm trying to get at. It was definitely longer than it had to be, but it was a good match. It was a very fun match. But Omega and Okada is where we're going. Do I have to speak about Okada? Like, it came to my mind that I need to say this, but at the same time, I'm thinking I don't want to just like poo-poo the guy because Okada is one of the greats. But people talk about Shinsuke Nakamura going to WWE and phoning it in. My God, Okada. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't say he's phoning it in. Like when he wrestles and he's put on the pay-per-views and stuff like that, he's still doing some excellent in-ring stuff. Maybe why are they just not booking him? They're not booking him. He's holding the title. They're not like booking the belt or booking him with defending the belt or whatever. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, he's just gonna hold the title aimlessly now all the way until July, and it's like with no challengers and stuff. He might have one challenger here or there, but it's just like, give this guy something to do. This is why we signed him. We've all probably tempered expectations and said, all right, we're not gonna get Tokyo Dome 7-star Okada. Like, we know it's later on in his life and how hard he's wrestled and stuff. We're still getting good performances from him, like I said, but we're just not booking him enough. And I can understand Kenny Omega got injured last year or had that long layoff, and it probably messed up plans that they had with Okada. But my God, pick up the pen and replan. Like, it just really bothers me, how Okada's being booked in that company, especially for such a place that celebrates professional wrestling. Like, you've got one of the fathers of it, the modern day fathers on your roster, and he's doing niche. He's doing nothing, mate. So yeah, the rant over. I'm done. Let's move on to the second match of the night. The trios champions, Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs. They were taking on a bunch of jobbers, Nick Comoroto, Rhett Titus, and Miles Hawkins. Yeah. Don't know who those guys are. Apart from Nick Comoroto, who apparently is leaving AEW once his contract is up. Yeah, I mean, obviously. But yeah, they had a match. Again, I slightly think that this lasted longer than it had to. It should have probably just been a quick squash by the Ops. I mean, it practically was, but like I don't know if you want to call it a bit of a designer squash. These guys got some stuff in. But yeah, the Ops got the win in a quick match. Following this, the Death Riders came out. They had a brawl with the Ops, and Shibata was kind of left laying and stuff like that. Samoa Joe called out Moxley again, told Moxley to come back to the ring. Moxley ignored and just walked out through the fans, through the tunnel in the back. And he said to Moxley, like, to kind of basically keep out all the goons from Death Riders and stuff. He wants his championship match at Beach Break, I think it's going to be. He wants that to be a cage match. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be great. Um, these two, like Joe is so aggressive in his style of wrestling, which I love. And then you've got the likes of Moxley, who he's just an aggressive guy. He's just a brawler. So to have them both in a cage, I think would be really fun, very interesting. Just adds a bit of something to the match because Moxley, we haven't been interested in the matches he's been having. If we call it, a spade, we'll be completely honest. So this is a good opportunity to have a bit of a brawl that he likes doing in a cage. Add some intrigue, and just another title defense along the way to the big show All In. And we're going to talk about his competitors for All In very, very soon. Next on the show, we had a backstage segment. It was the patriarchy. Jay Lethal stepped forward and challenged Nick Wayne for his championship, the Ring of Honor World TV Championship. Nick Wayne was basically trying to wriggle his way out of it. He was saying, I need to prepare for the best of Super Juniors. I'm going to Japan and all of that kind of stuff. But Christian, as a father should, no, these are your responsibilities. You're a champion now. You got to defend that title, mate. And yeah, he basically accepted on behalf of Nick Wayne. So later on in the night, we had Jay Lethal versus Nick Wayne. The championship was on the line, the Ring of Honor TV championship, because they said it was his first defense since he beat Commander for it. So we'll get back round to what happened in that match soon. But yeah, we've got this growing tension between Christian and Nick Wayne. Let me know your thoughts about Nick Wayne. I don't know I think some people think he is what's the word? He's not progressing. He's not developing. Needs more outings, needs to be wrestling more, he did get signed very, very young. If I'm correct, I remember AEW waiting till he reached, am I crazy if I say 16 before they could sign him? They had to wait, or they wished to wait for a certain age, and then they signed him. So yeah, maybe just more development needed if you're in the camp of thinking, Nick Wayne needs that. But yeah, now he's got this title. I'm sure he'll have to have more matches. And like we said, he's invested in Super Juniors, which I think is a really good place for him and development anyway. Let's talk about this. We had what can I call it? An icon. We had an icon on AEW this past week. Mayu Yamashita. Mayu had a match against Toni Storm, an eliminator match. So this was fun. Mayu played the heel in all of this. It was very clear that she wasn't gonna win, but I just think she's a great name to bring over to AEW and face the champion. And the champion had a good outing, good win. Mercedes Moné showed up, and I think this was after Mercedes Moné had a backstage segment with Renee Paquette about all her gold and this, that, and the other, and how she's going to win the Owen and win the women's title. So after Tony's match, Mercedes Moné showed up, and she made it clear that she's coming for AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm. She dismissed the fact that she still has Jamie Hayter to face. Jamie Hayter came out, and Jamie Hayter, I think she grabbed her or something like that, and Monet wriggled her way out of it and just ran to the back like a cartoon character. So that was pretty fun. Probably one of the few times ever you'll see Mercedes out cutting promos in the front of house as opposed to backstage of Renee Paquette. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. That is the final of the Owens tournament for the women. Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné at, what's that thing called? Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing. That match is going to be something. That match is going to be something. Mercedes Moné is on a amazing run right now. Yeah, like she is building the Mercedes Moné name. Like there's going to be so much matches and bangers of matches. By the time you go to Cage Match, you'll see Sasha Banks has all of these matches, but yeah, not through any fault of her own. Some of the matches might be hit up and down and up and down. With Mercedes Moné under that name, all the matches are going to be high ratings and stuff like that. She's absolutely smashing it right now. And Jamie Hayter, she's finding her place in things once again. She's resolved her visa issues or situation. So she's going to be here for the foreseeable, which is great, and hopefully be on TV consistently because of the issues have been resolved. Looking forward to this match. I expect Mercedes Moné to win because the biggest match that AEW can put on for this belt is Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. That is the biggest women's match that they can put on for their Women's World Championship. Unfortunately, the name value isn't with Jamie Hayter. It's with Mercedes Moné. So I look forward to that. And early prediction is kind of Mercedes Moné picks up the title and has another belt. That's what I think is going to happen. But we shall see. We shall see how that goes. But yeah, eagerly anticipated. I'm looking forward to that. We circle back round. We circle back round to this MJF segment where, you know, the Hurt Syndicate were in the ring already and had invited MJF out to, you know, will he get a unanimous decision, as MVP called it. So MVP puts his thumb up. Shelton Benjamin puts his thumb up. And then Bobby Lashley creates all the suspense in the world. He puts his thumb out. It's sideways. He's not sure, or he's not giving anything away if he's going to go up or if he's going to go down. He held it out there for a mighty long time. And he put it down. He's still against the idea of having MJF as part of the Hurt Syndicate. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure MVP said this is going to be the last time we do this sort of thing. So Max is not getting his chance within the Hurt Syndicate. MJF kind of went off at Lashley. He wasn't having it. He told Bobby Lashley about himself. He made a bald joke and stuff like that. He said that, you know, I gave you women, I gave you money, I gave you cars and stuff like that. What is it that would intrigue you? You know, he said, what was it? How about some Rogaine, you big board SOB or something like that. Yeah, this is what, at this point, Bobby Lashley grabbed him up and pushed him into the corner and said, I don't need anything from you. I need you to hurt people. So with that, you would imagine that he's got another chance to win his way into Hurt Syndicate. Although MVP had previously said that, you know, this is the last opportunity. It almost sounds to me like, yeah, this is your last chance. This is what I want you to do to get in here, sort of thing. Show me you can do this. So they all left the ring. As MVP was leaving the ring, he was kind of signaling to MJF that I told you, like, don't rile him up and get on his wrong side and all of that kind of stuff. So maybe we'll see MJF take up the offer, hurt somebody else to kind of demonstrate to the Hurt Syndicate he can get his hands dirty. I mean, we've seen him get his hands dirty in the past, really dirty, bloody, in fact. So I don't know why he's been given this test. Like, you know his track record about him double crossing people. You should know his track record about hurting people as well, you know. So I think that's a little plot hole in the story. But to be honest, I think the person he turns around and hurts is actually Bobby Lashley. I think he might do a madness to Bobby Lashley. We might get that match that I spoke of between MJF and Bobby Lashley, and maybe MJF gets the win. I don't know, but I think Bobby Lashley, whether it be next week or maybe it be at a pay-per-view match, is the one that's going to get hurt by MJF at the hands of MJF. That's what I think is going to happen at this point. Like I said earlier, I don't really know MJF's game to want to join the Hurt Syndicate apart from them propping him up to win the world title. I guess that's his game. But I don't want to see him in there. I don't mind this story. I just don't want to see him in there as a byproduct at all. Don't think it will work. Let's move on. So we've got that Ring of Honor World TV Championship match I spoke of earlier. Nick Wayne versus Jay Lethal. Nick Wayne defeated Jay Lethal. Like I'm sure probably all thought we all thought this was going to happen. Sorry, I just it was an okay match. I have very little interest in Nick Wayne. As it stands, I have very little interest in Jay Lethal. It's funny enough, when he popped on screen backstage to make his challenge, I popped. I was like, oh, Jay Lethal's here. Then I remembered he works for the company. Like this isn't like a special guest that's coming in or something like that, Max. Like this guy works here. So yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? I think yeah, this is Ring of Honor stuff happening on Dynamite. I don't know. It's am I allowed to say it? It's low level stuff. Come on. But yeah, Nick Wayne needs the reps. He's a good wrestler, but just as he's a young wrestler, he just needs more experience. And yeah, the best of the Super Juniors thing is a really good spot for him. So that should be fun. Lastly, in the main event, we had a bloody great match. We had Hangman Adam Page, going up against the proto star Carl Fletcher. This was to see who was going to make the final of the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament and take on Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing. This match was so good. Like, it was so good, so strong from both men. Like, a true AEW special, a true delight. This is why they can walk around and say this is where the best wrestle, because yeah, when it comes to wrestling, in-ring ability, a lot of promotions cannot hold a candle to AEW. No way. Like, these guys are so strong when they're doing this kind of stuff. This match was incredible, and Adam Page got an incredible win at the end of it all. Very, very strong stuff. Carl Fletcher, that boy's a talent, isn't he? That boy is very, very good. It's interesting to try to work out what his ceiling is, how far will he get, and how quickly will he take to get there. There's a part of me that wants to say, even when he had the hair and he was in Ring of Honor, like, he was untouchable then. He just had to wait for the world to find him. He just had to wait for the gap to become available to fill. And then the opportunity rose, and here we are. One of the most dastardly kind of heels in the business today. He's so good. So yeah, really really good effort by both men. But like I said, on to the final. Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay. It's gonna be a classic, isn't it? It's gonna be an absolute banger of a match. Like, these two, they're pretty much the heart and soul, literally, of AEW. So yeah, this should be a lot of fun. It's going to be an absolute classic. We are looking at 5 stars plus, I reckon, already. And I reckon they'll tell a really good story in that ring together. Who's going to win? I think you say Will Ospreay. Ospreay was very clear when everyone was declaring that they want, their championship. They want to win the Owen and enter the Owen to win it and get a championship opportunity. Ospreay was, all of that, plus I want a main event all in. Like, and his run he's been on since he joined the company, I think it's deserved. I think he has been a top guy without having the top title, and maybe not being paid the most and all of that kind of stuff. But that guy he's the best. He's the best. And yeah, it comes to a point where I was asking this recently to some friends. It feels like we're trying to avoid giving him the world title. Like, it's like, oh no, we can't do that, or we can't do it yet, or whatever the case is. Like, why are we running away in the opposite direction from Will Ospreay with the title belt when we should be putting the title belt on him? I think he's that good, and can carry this company be that likable, understanding person that like news outlets and all of these people want to kind of talk things with, etc., etc. Be approachable as he is. Yeah, I just think Adam Page would be great in any other situation. But I'm looking at who's actually going to go on, win this match, and actually become champion. I think we have to give Will Ospreay a roll of the dice. That was AEW Dynamite. A pretty decent show. You know, if I'm looking at the matches, the main event was obviously special. I think the cruiserweight match was special. Kenny Omega, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey. Did I say the cruiserweight match? Sorry, the all-star tag team match. I think that was good as well. Just a bit long and stuff like that, like I mentioned already. So yeah, we had some really strong wrestling on today's show, on today's AEW Dynamite. Like I said at the top of the show, guys, let me know down below in the comments what you think. Should MJF join the Hurt Syndicate? I'm not for it personally, but we'll see. And if not, who do you want to join the Hurt Syndicate? And yeah, we're looking at an Adam Page, Will Ospreay final. Who is going to win that match at Double or Nothing? Let me know down below in the comments. That brings us towards an end on today's AEW Dynamite review. You are watching that on the WrestleManiac UK YouTube channel. Guys, I'm making an effort to post on my Instagram and my TikTok and all these places. So please make sure you're following along WrestleManiac UK on all the socials. Hit the like button on this stream. Hit the subscribe button as well if you're new here. Drop a comment, like I said earlier, and I'll see you in the next one. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.